Every night, Jean. You fiddle-faddle your time away. It's a wonder to me you ever get anything done. Always putting things off until the last minute.
Oh, I do get things done, though, don't I?
Just by the skin of your teeth and with all of us helping. Now get to work. I'll expect to see all this homework finished by 9:30.
All right, Mom. Hi, G. Hi, Marge. Finish all your homework? No, not quite. I'll finish it during first hour history class. Miss Jones will just think I'm taking notes. But, Jean, there were only 10 words to define. I finished mine in practice. Say, Marge, didn't Mr. Brown say he'd post a list of new class officers this morning? I think so. We voted yesterday morning, so they should be ready by today. Gee, I wish I knew who was elected. Wish that Beth would hurry. Good morning, Mr. Brown. Good morning, girls.
Golly, Marge, I'm sorry you didn't get elected.
Oh, that's all right. Jean will make a good social chairman. She's got lots of good ideas.
Yeah, but she never sees things through.
She was chairman of the class assembly last year, and it was one of the best we ever had.
Sure, I remember. We did everything at the last minute.
Just the same, it was good.
That was just luck. Besides, we're all so mad we did everything we could think of to make it good. Marge, did any of you girls ever tell Jean about promising so much and then waiting until the last minute to get started?
Oh, yes, we told her. She said it was a good idea and then went right on doing like she always does.
What a girl.
Here are the plans for the decorations. They're real simple, and we'll only need the gym the night before the party. In fact, if we start to decorate at 6:30 sharp, we'll be all through by 8:30. Let me see it, Jean. See? She's really on the ball this time.
You just wait. We still have a whole month to go.
I have a list of all the crepe paper and stuff we need. I'll bring them the night we decorate.
Uh-oh, here it comes. Look, Jean, this decoration stuff is simple enough, but there's more to it than just talking about it. Maybe you ought to appoint some committees to help.
Yeah, that's what about reserving the gym. What about refreshments? We'll need to eat. Yeah. Fine. Jim, you're in charge of getting wire for decorations, okay?
Okay.
Marge, will you appoint a committee and make the invitations and programs for the dance? And Frank, you'll be business manager and sell the tickets.
Oh.
Let's see. Decorations. I'd like to shop for the crepe paper myself. I know just the colors I want. And in the morning, I'll see Mr. Brown about the gym. And tonight I'll make a list of the refreshments the committee is to arrange for.
But Jean,
That's still too much for you to do by yourself. Why don't you appoint some more people to help you? Oh, don't worry, Marge. There's no hurry. I'll get it done. I move we adjourn to the drugstore. Come on, I'll see you later. Okay. Bye, kids. See you later. Oh, Mr. Brown, I was just coming to see you.
And I was just coming to see you, Jean.
I wanted to see you about getting the gym for Friday night and Saturday, the day of our party.
Well, Jean, you should have seen me about that some time ago.
You mean we can't have it?
Well, fortunately for you, Jim saw me about it a few days ago, so I did reserve the gym for the class. But as chairman of that committee, Jean, you should have seen me about that reservation at least a month ago.
I'm sorry, Mr. Brown, but gee, with all the tests and everything, I just didn't have time to.
Well, I hope you aren't putting off many more of your responsibilities, because you haven't much time left.
Oh, yes, sir. I know that. I'm going downtown right after school tonight and get the decorations and...
Jean, did you ever try making a list like this of the things you have to do and the time you have to do them in, and then try sticking with the list?
Oh, sure, Mr. Brown. That's a good idea. Well, thanks for reserving the gym for us. I've got to go now. Bye.
Goodbye.
Hi, Alice. Say, I've got the greatest new record I want you to hear. Come on over after school and we'll play it.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Hill, but I just don't know what Jean has done about refreshments for the party.
You know, Mrs. Nelson, I work during the day, and I would like to know what Martha is to bring so that I can prepare it the evening before and get it out of the way.
I understand, Mrs. Hill, and I'll talk to Jean and have her get in touch with you this evening. Thanks for calling. Jean, come here a moment, please.
Later, Mom. I'm supposed to meet the kids in a few minutes.
Jean,
But, Mom...
Jean.
All right, I'm coming. What do you want, Mom?
Jean, Mrs. Hill just called, and she said that you told Martha that she was to bring part of the refreshments for the party.
Oh, sure. All of the kids are supposed to bring something.
But what are they to bring? They don't know.
Well, golly, this is only Thursday, Mom, and the party isn't until Saturday.
Jean, you be sure and call Mrs. Hill today and let her know what Martha is to bring to the party.
Okay. Oh, and Mom, reports for Miss Simmons, and it's the last day.
I can't go until tomorrow, Jean. I'm having book club here this afternoon, but if it's just odds and ends. Jean Nelson, this is terrible. You couldn't possibly get all these things in one afternoon.
But gee, Mom, we've got to decorate tomorrow night. Oh, well, I guess I'll have to see if I can go myself tonight before the stores close, or tomorrow before we decorate.
Jean, I just can't understand you. Why do you always put off everything till the last minute?
Well, I couldn't help it, Mom. There are just so many things to do, and... Oh, there's Marge. Bye now. Don't worry, I'll get everything done.
I'll take care of everything, Jean said. At the time, she really meant it. But when she tried to call Martha's mother about the cookies, the line was busy. And when she tried to get to town that afternoon, there were some other things she needed, and the stores closed before she could buy the materials for the decorations. Anyway, there's still tomorrow. She'll have to work hard, skip some other things she ought to do, but Jean works well under pressure. Yes, there's still tomorrow. And the hints the others gave her? Marge, advising her to assign some of the work to a committee and not try to do so much herself. Mr. Brown suggesting she make a list of the things she had to do and the time she had to do them in. Jim wanting her to get the job started weeks ahead while she still had time to get it finished. Yes, Jean had plenty of hints on how to get things done, and she had good intentions, but something always happened to keep her from making use of their advice. So Jean is polishing her nails. They'll look nice for the party tomorrow.
I told you so. I told you it'd be like this.
Now, Jim, there's no use getting upset about it. Well, my mother's upset, and I don't blame her. Jean didn't tell me till today what I was supposed to bring for refreshment, and now Mom has to stay home from work and make cookies.
Yeah, we almost didn't get the gym either. Did you hear about that one?
now listen, this won't help. There's still time to make this a good party. Jean will be here in a few minutes with the decorations.
Well, she's 15 minutes late already. Oh, what a chairman.
Hi. Here, let me help you. Gosh, that doesn't look like much crepe paper. Well, it isn't exactly what I had in mind, but...
What do you mean it isn't exactly what you had in mind?
Now, wait a minute, Jim.
I have been waiting. We've all been waiting for 2 months. Why don't you have enough crepe paper? And why didn't you tell the kids about the refreshments? And why did you wait until the last minute to reserve the gym?
I've been so busy,
Busy my foot. You just put it off like you always do.
Jim, blaming Jean isn't going to help now.
I know, but I'm going to tell Jean something she should have been told a long time ago. Now listen, Jean, it's okay with me if you get your homework in at the last minute. That's your business. But when you ruin the whole class party just because you keep putting things off, none of us like it. Let me tell you something else.
Well, that's Jean's story. Always putting things off. Procrastination, it's called. Can you see how procrastination affected Jean, her friends, their party? How could Jean manage her time better? Remember the hints some of the others gave her? Could you use them to good advantage? Did Jean? What do you think?
It's fun to eat supper with your family, especially when there is good food on the table. Strong, healthy bodies. They are good foods to eat. Father is certainly enjoying his supper. So is Carol. So is Mother. Just look at that plate. Aren't you feeling well, Bill? Aren't you hungry? What can be the matter? After supper, it's fun to play a while before bed. But there's still something wrong, isn't there, Bill? In a moment, you'll know what it is. Yes, Bill, you're getting a stomachache. You have a stomachache, it isn't any fun to play. There it is again. Poor Bill. What now? We'll soon know, because here comes Mother. Mother can tell right away that Bill isn't feeling well. So, what happens next? Yes, Bill's put to bed to get some rest. Now, why does Bill have a stomachache? He didn't eat anything bad today, did he? Well, perhaps it wasn't what he ate, but the way he ate it. Why, even this morning, Mother was a little worried. Let's go back to this morning and see how Bill's stomachache might have happened. Bill wasn't at breakfast on time this morning. You see, he didn't get up when Father first called him. Oh, Bill got to the table, and he ate his breakfast, or rather, part of it. Orange juice, one big gulp of it. Milk for the cereal, splash it on, no time to waste. Gobble down the cereal, a couple of big spoonfuls, one right after the other. But leave most of it. Now for the eggs, more good, healthful food. But what about Bill's eating habits? Into his mouth went some egg. Right away, a big bite of toast. And there was some bacon, so he stuffed in part of that. And then, just one big splash of milk. And Bill was off to school. Well, he caught up with his family. and he beat them through breakfast. But he ate so fast. And do you think he ate enough? At lunchtime, Bill had some fine sandwiches. He also had money to buy soup. But he didn't want to stand in line for soup. He was in a hurry to go out and play. So, how did Bill eat his lunch? Watch. After school, of course, Bill was hungry. He was hungry and he had some money. So, but did Bill leave his pop and candy only half eaten? No, sir. He emptied that pop bottle as fast as he could. He gobbled down all his candy. And, as if that wasn't enough, he ate some cookies, too. Then Bill didn't feel hungry anymore. No, sir. For once, he had eaten too much. At supper time, Bill still felt full. So he didn't hurry with his supper. He just poked at it. He was tired. And he just didn't have any appetite. Bill didn't know it, but he was already beginning to be sick. Well, Bill, now you know what might have caused your stomachache. Why you feel so bad. Why you'll have to stay in bed until you feel better. You see, you hurried so all day long. You rushed through your meals and didn't eat enough good food. And then, in the afternoon, all those sweets. They filled your stomach and didn't leave room for any of the foods you need. In fact, Bill, you mistreated your stomach all day long. No wonder you have a stomachache. How is it this morning, Bill? Feel better? Think you know now about good eating habits? Downstairs in time for breakfast. Give yourself time to eat a good breakfast. Let's see how well you can eat. That's right. Drink your juice a little at a time. Doesn't it taste good? You just never took time before to find how good food can taste. Mother's pleased and proud. We're off to a good start this morning. But will it last? Will you remember to eat the right way? Uh-oh, almost washed your food down. Before you take a drink, chew your food well and swallow it. Now you're eating pretty well. Will you do as well with the bacon and eggs and toast? Chew your toast thoroughly. That's the way. Chew and chew. Doesn't it taste extra good that way? What about that bacon? Well, maybe there are better ways to cut it. But when you eat it in small bits, you can chew it better. It tastes so good, you want to eat every bite. Breakfast is more fun this way, isn't it? Well, Bill, plenty of time to get to school today. And in class, studying seems easier. What? 11 o'clock? Usually you're mighty hungry by this time. Today, you feel fine. Lunchtime is another time to practice good eating habits. Eat slowly and chew thoroughly. Finish all your food. Later on, drink lots of water. After school, that's the idea, Bill. A good snack of crackers and milk at home. That's the good kind of food if you're hungry after school. And then, play. Hard play. Plenty of pep now. Yesterday's stomach ache is forgotten. At supper time, you're hungry again. Everything tastes good, and you're eating well. See what good eating habits can do for you? Eating for seconds. After supper, you feel fine. No stomach ache, not too tired, not hungry. Just feeling fine. And that people hitchhike seems like a good way to get from one place to another, but sometimes there are dangers involved that never meet the eye. Let's take the case of Jimmy Barnes. Jimmy played baseball all afternoon and he didn't feel like walking home, so he decided to thumb a ride. He'd done it 100 times before, and he didn't think anything was unusual when the driver struck up a friendly conversation. In fact, he seemed like a real nice guy. He asked Jimmy if he played baseball in the park often. Jimmy told him they practiced 3 times a week and played a rival group on Friday afternoon. The stranger was a good listener, too, and had only seen minutes before they pulled up in front of Jimmy's house. When Jimmy got out, the stranger gave him a friendly pat. Then he told him he'd see him again, as he always drove by the park on his way home. Sure enough, the following day, when Jimmy finished playing ball, well, the man was there waiting. They stopped at a drive-in, and the stranger treated him to a Coke. During their conversation, he told several off-color jokes, but Jimmy had heard others before, and, well, it made him feel big to so easily win the confidence of an older person. The following Saturday, they went fishing together. By now, they were using first names. Ralph said it was more friendly. Jimmy hadn't enjoyed himself so much in a long time. Then during lunch, Ralph showed him some pornographic pictures. Jimmy knew he shouldn't be interested, but, well, he was curious. What Jimmy didn't
know was that Ralph was sick, a sickness that was not visible like smallpox, but no less dangerous and contagious, a sickness of the mind. You see, Ralph was a homosexual, a person who demands an intimate relationship with members of their own sex. But by now, Jimmy felt a fondness for Ralph, and they continued to go places together. Ralph was generous and took Jimmy many interesting places and did many nice things for him. He bought presents and even gave him money, but payments were expected in return. You see, Jimmy hadn't recognized Ralph's approach soon enough. When Ralph first asked Jimmy to go fishing alone, he should have discussed it with his parents or teacher. Finally, Jimmy told his parents, and they reported it to the juvenile authorities. Ralph was arrested, and Jimmy was released on probation in the custody of his parents. But all homosexuals are not passive. Some resort to violence, as in the case of Mike Merrick. In the heat of competition, no one noticed the man who sat and watched. And when the game broke up and the others left, Mike decided to stay and practice a little longer. The stranger joined him. He was friendly and, well, it was better than playing alone. But after a few shots, Mike realized he had already overstayed his time and suggested he better leave. The stranger told him if he'd like to stay longer, he'd be glad to drive him home when they finished. Sounded great to Mike. Chance to play longer and get a ride home, too. Someday if he got lots of practice. The companionship, the praise, the friendly attitude dispelled any misgivings Mike might have had about going with a stranger. He probably never realized until too late that he was riding in the shadow of death. But sometime that evening, Mike Merritt traded his life for a newspaper headline. As Denny and Jerry got the papers ready for Jerry's afternoon delivery, they only casually noticed the two boys that raced by in the afternoon traffic, and they didn't pay much attention to the car that drew up shortly afterwards, until the man called them over. Had two boys been by on bicycles? The boys nodded they had. Could they recognize them if they saw them again? Well, then he guessed he could. Then hop in, the man said, those are stolen bikes. Without giving it another thought, Denny got in and the car sped away. Jerry watched. He'd been told many times, if a friend got in a car with a stranger, to write down the license number. It didn't seem to apply, but, well, fortunately he marked it down. When he delivered a paper to Denny's house, he asked his mother if they'd caught the boys that had stolen the bicycles. Denny hadn't returned, so he told her the story and gave her the paper with the license number. Being a careful parent, she decided to call the police. Jerry supplied the necessary information and the stranger's car was quickly spotted. It was a good example of how important it is to always get the license number and description of any stranger who takes a young person off alone, no matter what they tell you. Public restrooms can often be a hangout for the homosexual. Bobby and his friends hadn't noticed the man who had been in the restroom when they changed, and as it was late, he suggested they take the shortcut under the pier, but the others preferred to take the more traveled way home. Bobby recognized the stranger as the man in the restroom. The shortcut under the pier didn't seem like a good idea at all. After all, it's more fun to stay with your friends anyway. Bobby had made a wise decision. It may have saved his life. The decision is always yours, and your whole future may depend on making the right one. So no matter where you meet a stranger, be careful if they are too friendly, if they try to win your confidence too quickly, and if they become overly personal. One never knows when the homosexual is about. He may appear normal, and it may be too late when you discover he is mentally ill. So keep with your group, and don't go off alone with strangers unless you have the permission of your parent or teacher.
Well, I don't know how to talk about this, but here's a film my father made me watch when I was your age.
Then during lunch, Ralph showed him some pornographic pictures. Jimmy knew he shouldn't be interested, but, well, he was curious. What Jimmy didn't know was that Ralph was sick. A sickness that was not visible like smallpox, but no less dangerous and contagious. A sickness of the mind. You see, Ralph was a homosexual. A person who demands an intimate relationship with members of their own sex.
Is that Earth?
I'll call you on the phone, but there's nobody home. I'm just watching the time go by.